My man, I am such a huge fan. 12-year-old me's freaking out right now. I'm going to try and keep my composure for this interview because we got some things to talk about.
Thank you very much. Well, look, I'd probably have a better interview with the 12-year-old you, and we at least we'd be on the same wavelength then. So,
Oh my goodness. Let's start with the big announcement. We just found out that NXT is moving to the CW October the 1st, and you picked the best city in America to host the event. Chicago, is the best wrestling WWE market in the entire world. So talk about people are going to buy tickets. It's going to sell out. They're on sale now, but talk about why we need to be there as WWE fans on that day.
well, look, it's huge. Plus, it's Chicago, and again, all the stuff you said about Chicago, again, it's true, and I know that those are sometimes I don't know. I probably a lot of I don't know talent or sports teams. I don't know talk about this town being the best, but Chicago. I think every Chicago is known worldwide for being such a huge supporter of the WWE and our business in general. So it really is. It couldn't be more fitting for us if you want to make a big splash, which NXT does. I know the CW network does. There's no place better than to have the launch of NXT on CW coming out of Chicago and the Allstate Arena. It is absolutely just one of the best environments in all of the world. And I'm so looking forward to our talent who they've all been at home. They've all watched as fans, watching shows, happen and go down in the Allstate Arena. But now they're going to have the opportunity to get in there and feel what it's like to perform in front of that great city. So we're very excited, very stoked about the opportunity of coming to Chicago on October 1st.
And in addition to the amazing NXT talent, and y'all are cooking right now, man, on all cylinders. You got another guy that just so happens to be from Chicago that's going to stop on by. CM Punk's going to be there. What do you think his role is going to be on this night?
Well, look, I tell you what. First of all, as soon as this announcement came out, Punk texted me and he was like, "Anything I can do, any opportunity, anything that I could do, any role." And look, for us, for NXT, he's been just an incredible supporter of NXT since he's been back. And I have to say that when he heard about this event, he volunteered himself. Right now, we're still kind of working that out. But I'm telling you, look, you have the opportunity to have one of the biggest global superstars in all of WWE offered to be a part of your show. Clearly, you take advantage of that. So we're certainly going to do that. He's going to have a major role. We haven't quite defined what that is yet, but I can promise you it will be something big going down on October 1st with CM Punk and NXT.
Now, I know I've heard you in other podcasts and interviews how proud you are to be in this role now with the WWE and NXT, but I look at you as the Tom Brady of the WWE. And here's why. You could arguably say that you have had two or three Hall of Fame careers in your career. Starting with the tag team stuff and then moving into the 90s, early 2000s, and then stuff after the injury. What out of everything that you've done in the ring are you most proud of?
Look, I think when it comes to the ring, look, I look back on the whole body of work, and I guess there are times you look back and sure you would have loved to have not made some mistakes or changed some things, but I think it's the journey. I think it's the journey, and honestly, when everything's said and done, it kind of culminates in those last two. I think with the Undertaker, and even the last three with being the special referee with Taker and Hunter. Those are the ones that kind of encapsulate everything that's so great about our business, not just from the wrestling standpoint, but also the bond that you have with one another as performers. Those are two guys that I spent the majority of my lifetime with, and they with me, and for the three of us to have this storyline, and I don't know, and for it to culminate in such a fantastic way. That's, I think, I don't know. That's what I think is probably the proudest moment, I guess, that I have because it kind of just encapsulates that entire 35 years of wrestling. And so, from a performance standpoint, certainly I think that would be it. But I have to tell you, I'd have never thought in a million years I'd have the opportunity to be doing what I'm doing now, and that's helping young superstars achieve those same dreams. times. And they've seen it happen with all of us, and they see it now, and they dream of it, and they want it. And honestly, helping them try to make that a reality has been a sheer joy over the last several years here at NXT.
Let's talk about when you were in that role and you were just coming up and you had to learn, right? And first of all, rockers need to be in the Hall of Fame. I think you agree. Secondly, who was that guy? What was that, Shawn Michaels in your career early on that gave you that advice? And what advice stuck with you?
Sure. Well, look, there were a number of them because I was so fortunate to have so many just, I don't know, fabulous veterans at our disposal. So, look, I think at different times through my career, it went to different guys, but I could, Ted DiBiase was one. Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson were two from a tag team standpoint that I gleaned so much from, and also from a single standpoint. But Randy Savage was another person. And look, what the one thing that I always tell people is what's, the Macho Man told me, which is don't ever take yourself out of the game. And it was one of those things that if you're here, if you remove yourself from the WWE, the opportunity is gone. It's not going to happen. That opportunity at a WrestleMania main event, that opportunity to stand in full of a stadium full of people chanting your name is gone. But as long as you're here, there's still a chance. You never know what tomorrow brings, and that's something that Macho Man taught me, very early on, and it's something that always stuck with me. And so, look, I think I will say also, my buddies Kevin Nash, Hunter, X-Pac, Scott Hall. We all gleaned information from different guys, but then we all got together and talked about that and shared that, I don't know, that knowledge that all these different guys had. So we had so many different old school guys helping us along the way. And then the five of us together just continued to try to build on that. So I've been very fortunate to have a lot of great veterans, pave the way before me. And that's exactly what we're trying to do for this next generation here at NXT.
And you're doing a great job. And what I love about the art that is professional wrestling, and I try to explain it for people that don't normally watch, is this product, especially when you go live, it creates memories for people, right? Like going as a little kid from a fan, going as a kid with my dad. I'll remember that first time. Taking my little sister to her first event. Weekends at WrestleMania with my buddies. Every year we plan this trip. We're going to the events. We're seeing everything. We get chills when you guys make these entrances. But at the end of the day, we're sharing moments with people. Do you guys, as performers, even realize how much that is important to what you do?
We do now, but I will say I certainly didn't. Starting out, and all of that has just grown so much. Again, you sort of, certainly for my generation, you get into it because you watched it on a local level, and it just seemed, just for me anyway, it seemed like the greatest thing I'd ever seen. And I always tell everybody the story that I can remember just wanting to one day be able to main event in the Hemisphere Arena in San Antonio, Texas, and have my own apartment and a car. And I would think that was the greatest success in the world, getting to travel to Corpus and Laredo during the week. And that was my idea of stardom. And then you watch the WWE grow into this global entity. And then over time, you're able to have some of these matches. But then you watch the Hogans and Andre create just what you said, these moments that are etched in people's minds forever. And then it begins to dawn on you that you now have the opportunity to do that. And then, look, I think the first one where it really, came a reality to me was the ladder match at WrestleMania 10. I always tell people, Scott and I were just two guys. We had some ladder matches on the road. So we were just out there doing what we had done before at WrestleMania 10. And then all of a sudden it became this whole entirely different, gigantic monster by the time everything was said and done. But that's when you start to realize there's people out there that at every, or at least at one point in their life, they have a WWE adventure or journey along with us. And all of them can know where they were at or what they were doing when this happened or when you did this. And that's when, again, it really begins to I don't know, to sink in when you can be at Disney World with your family and people come up to you and tell you about something you did, and you're at the grocery store again, and people come up and tell you about these moments and times like this. So that is all something that is a reality now, but it certainly wasn't that way when I first started. And it really does. That's where you get to the point at the end of your career, like I am now, where you really begin to appreciate that. And that's what makes those moments, like I talked about earlier with Taker and Hunter, so unbelievably special, because you're getting to create that again, and you're getting to do it with one, and two of your just closest friends in the entire world.
Love it. There's one memory that I have that I wish I could take back, and it has to do with professional wrestling. It's the running joke you've heard a million times. How many kids end up in the principal's office doing suck it in high school? It happened to me and my best friend. We were both there sitting. Now, if I could FaceTime the Heartbreak Kid back in the day to talk to my principal, to explain to him what we're doing, what would you have said to the principal?
I would have said, I'm sorry. I've now raised children as well. I can remember at that time in my life going, it's your job to raise the children, not ours. And of course, then I have to sit there and look at my children and go like, sorry about that. Your dad was out there kind of making a bit of an ass out of himself.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah, so look, it's easier said than done. That's for sure. But I guess I always, again, I go back to I'm sorry, I love you. And
I
that's
think
all.
Mr. Murray would. I think, yeah, I think Mr. Murray would accept that for sure, for sure. And then I got to ask you too, being such an entertaining performer and creating so many memories for all of us fans over the years. I put you as the top guy that could sell, and I think selling is something a lot of professional wrestlers take pride in. Because you're helping yourself, but you're more importantly helping the other person that's working with you. If you could create the Mount Rushmore of sellers, you're on it. So you only got three. You're the George Washington. So you got three. Who you putting on there?
For me, pretty easy picks. Ricky Steamboat, Ricky Morton, and then I'm going to go on the heel side with a Kurt Hennig.
Oh,
But for me, so much of what I did certainly as a good guy was Steamboat and Ricky Morton, just two guys that I thought were fantastic at doing just that. And then, of course, Kurt was just phenomenal from a bump taking and a heel standpoint. So those are easily my picks for selling Mount Rushmore.
I don't know how much time we have, but I did want to ask about one of the talents that we're seeing on Tuesday nights. And it seems like it's a bit of a ride right now, and that's Joe Hendry. How far can this man go?
Well, look, I think he's with a number of people again, like a Trick Williams and so many others that we have, whether it be Roxanne Perez on the women's side, Jada Parker on the women's side, countless others on the men's side. But I think one of the best things for him was obviously being able to come out and be on this bigger stage with us here in NXT. But I think a great deal of potential. The biggest reason is because Joe is a guy that has been doing this for a while, but he's very hungry to learn. I think he's very aware of the opportunity that's before him, and he's so open to feedback and direction. And look, a lot of times when you have someone that's been doing this for a while, that's not always the case. But I think Joe's humility is something that is so, I think, probably not recognized, because from a character standpoint, he comes across in a completely different way. But there's a bright young man there, a very humble young man. But he's got a lot of real positives to him, where he's got that humility, so he's very open to learn. But he is a bright, intelligent young man. So I think again, cliche to say, but the sky's the limit for Joe Hendry.
I can't wait to see all the NXT stars on October 1st. My birthday is October 2nd. This is going to be the best birthday present ever. Going to be televised on the CW. We're going to fill that All-State Arena. Tickets are on sale now. Mr. Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, it's been an honor talking to you. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished with NXT and your career. And thank you for all the moments that you've given us.
Well, it was my pleasure to do them. I'm honored to have had the opportunity to be able to make my living doing that line of work. And again, I'm very thankful to all the people that supported me along the way, yourself included. And last thing is happy birthday, and I hope you enjoy it, man. And we're looking forward to seeing y'all on October 1st.
Rockers Hall of Fame, baby. Woo!